The Galactic Council's secret meeting. Emerges Empire. The Galactic Council was not a place where peace was easily achieved. It was a vast room, filled with representatives from hundreds of different alien species, each with their own agendas, priorities, and secrets. Today, however, the mood was different. The usual discussions about trade routes and resource allocations were replaced with something much more concerning. At the head of the long table sat Salner, the ancient leader of the council. His skin was a shimmering, translucent blue, his eyes glowing like twin stars. He had seen empires rise and fall, but today his face was filled with unease. Across from him, the holographic images of various council members flickered in the dim light of the room. The air was thick with tension, each representative trying to hide their worry. "We have received troubling news," Zelnor began, his voice calm but laced with an undeniable tension. "Humanity has developed a new weapon. A weapon unlike anything we have seen before." A murmur spread through the room. Some of the council members, representing species with centuries of history, laughed it off. "Humans are primitive," one of them, a tall, reptilian being named Vark, sneered. "They can barely hold their own against our warships. How could they possibly pose a threat?" But Salner was not so easily dismissed. His eyes narrowed, and he motioned for the hologram to project a series of images onto the table. What appeared was a dark, imposing shape, something massive, something far beyond the size of any ship humanity had ever created. "This," Zelnor continued, "is what we fear. A super warship created by humanity. It is called the Horizon." The image of the warship flickered and came to life in front of the council. It was massive, larger than the largest dreadnoughts of the council's fleet, built with technology far beyond what humanity should have been capable of. The ship's sleek, black surface reflected the stars around it, and the energy it emitted seemed to distort the space around it. The council members couldn't hide their shock. Vark shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Impossible. This can't be real." Zelnor's expression remained serious. "We have confirmed it. Our spies report that the Horizon is capable of disabling entire fleets in a single strike. We have also received reports that the humans are prepared to deploy it on a massive scale." The council was silent. If the rumors were true, this new human weapon could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The council's hold on the universe was based on control, on dominance, and on overwhelming force. If a single human ship could destroy their fleets with ease, the galaxy's power structure was in jeopardy. "How do we know it's a threat?" asked a representative from a peaceful species called the Zoax. Their race had never been involved in conflict and believed in the power of diplomacy. Zelnor paused, his eyes flashing with something that almost resembled fear. "We've seen it in action." A small fleet of council ships was dispatched to investigate a human colony near the edge of the galaxy. The Horizon arrived without warning. The fleet did not last 10 minutes. All communication with them was lost. A hush fell over the room. It was one thing to hear rumors. It was another to hear that an entire fleet had been wiped out. Zalner's next words sent a chill through everyone present. "This warship is not just a weapon. It represents something else. It represents the strength of humanity. They have been quietly building their military for years. What was once a struggling race has now become a force that threatens to overthrow everything we have worked for." A member from the Talrex Empire, known for its aggressive nature, leaned forward. "So what do we do? Do we send an attack force to crush them before they can deploy this weapon?" Zalnor shook his head slowly. "That would be foolish. We cannot underestimate humanity. They are resilient, resourceful, and unpredictable. They may have a weapon that can wipe out our fleets, but they are not invincible. The Horizon is only one part of their plan. We must tread carefully." Another representative, a tall, humanoid being from the Ryath race, spoke up. "Should we attempt diplomacy? Perhaps we can reach an agreement with them, avoid an all-out war." Zelnor let out a soft sigh. "I believe humanity has moved beyond diplomacy. Their new weapon is proof of that. They have already shown that they are willing to fight for their survival, and they will not back down. We are no longer dealing with the humans we once knew. This new human empire, with the Horizon at its helm, may very well be the galaxy's greatest challenge. The Council fell silent again. The idea of a human-led empire, one that could rival the most powerful races in the galaxy, was terrifying. How could a species that was once so small, so fragmented, grow to this point? Zelnor stood up, his voice commanding as it echoed through the room. We need to understand what we're up against. We need to learn about this Horizon, this new human warship, and what it means for the galaxy. But we must also consider, are we the ones who are truly in danger, or is it the beginning of something we never imagined? A new empire rising in the galaxy. The room was still, each representative lost in thought. The fate of the galaxy seemed to rest in the balance, and one thing was certain: humanity was no longer the underdog. They were emerging as the empire that might just be the greatest threat the galaxy had ever faced. In the shadows of the council hall, a lone figure watched silently, a human. Their mission was clear. Humanity would no longer be overlooked. The Horizon was just the beginning. The arrival of the human super warship, the galaxy was in chaos. The Galactic Council had barely begun to recover from the shock of the Horizon's existence when another unexpected event occurred: its arrival. It began with a ripple in the fabric of space. A strange disturbance caught the attention of every scanning station in the vicinity. At first, it was barely noticeable. The sensors detected a blip, an anomaly that was neither large nor clearly defined. But as the anomaly grew, it became clear. Something massive was entering Council-controlled space. The Horizon had arrived. At the edge of a peaceful sector, far from the core worlds of the Galactic Council, the Horizon emerged from a hidden dimension. Its size was impossible to comprehend, so vast that even the most advanced scanners had trouble calculating its true scale. It was as if an entire world had been brought to life as a warship. It floated effortlessly in the empty space, its black hull reflecting the stars around it. Its presence seemed to bend space itself, as though it didn't belong to the galaxy at all. The Galactic Council had been watching closely, waiting for this moment. The Horizon was no longer just a rumor. It was real. It was here. Immediately, the Council's automated defense systems activated, and the fleets were deployed to investigate. But there was a problem. Nothing could get close to the ship. Any vessel that tried to enter a certain radius around the Horizon was either disabled or redirected with ease. No weapons fired, no shields activated, and no communications were received from the Horizon itself. It was as if the warship was alive, controlling everything in its path without ever needing to make a move. Fear spread quickly through the ranks of the Council. The Horizon wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol of humanity's unrelenting drive, their capacity for innovation, and their terrifying will to conquer. The ship was proof of humanity's ability to create something beyond the reach of any empire, even one as powerful as the Galactic Council. Meanwhile, the Horizon's captain, a human named Admiral Catherine Briggs, stood at the helm, watching the galaxy unfold before her. She knew the importance of what she commanded, and she also understood the fear it inspired. The Horizon wasn't just a ship, it was a declaration. Humanity had arrived, and they were no longer content to remain in the shadows of other, older races. They would fight for their place in the galaxy, no matter what it took. "Prepare to send a message to the Council," Admiral Briggs ordered, her voice steady but filled with purpose. "Let them know we're here and that we are not leaving." The communications officer nodded, tapping a few keys. The message was simple but clear. This is the Horizon. Humanity has arrived. Prepare yourselves. The message was sent across all frequencies, a stark reminder of the power humanity now held. It wasn't a threat in the traditional sense, but it was undeniable. The Horizon had the capability to destroy entire fleets, and humanity had no hesitation in showing it. Back at the Galactic Council's meeting table, chaos erupted once again. The members who had once dismissed humanity as insignificant were now on edge, scrambling to find a solution to this new problem. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Tar, a representative from one of the most militarily advanced species in the Council. "This warship is beyond our understanding. What do the humans intend with it?" Zollner's face remained stoic as he processed the information. "They intend to show us that they can. We have underestimated them for too long. The Horizon is not just a warship, it is a statement." The Council's leader, Zollner, had always prided himself on his ability to think strategically, but even he could not deny the growing sense of dread. The human warship was an unstoppable force, one that could obliterate anything in its path. And if humanity was now willing to show its power, what did that mean for the future of the galaxy? "We must act quickly," Zollner finally said. "We cannot allow humanity to become a threat to the balance of power in the galaxy. We need to understand their motives, their capabilities. If we are to survive, we must know how to stop this weapon." The Council members reluctantly agreed, though fear still clouded their judgment. Humanity's ultimate super warship was not something they could ignore. It was clear. The Horizon was just the beginning. What other secrets did humanity hold? And would the Council be able to respond in time? As the Horizon hovered silently in the depths of space, the galaxy held its breath, waiting for the next move. The arrival of the Horizon was a turning point, a moment when humanity would prove its power and claim its place among the stars. What followed would either be a new era of coexistence or a devastating war that would reshape the galaxy forever. The stage was set, and the outcome was uncertain. But one thing was certain: the Horizon had come to stay, and the Galactic Council could no longer afford to underestimate humanity. A show of strength. The Council was shaken, but there was no time to waste. The Galactic Council's reputation was on the line. If they didn't act quickly, they risked losing everything. The leaders of the various species discussed their next move, but the one thing everyone agreed on was that the Horizon and humanity could not be ignored. Days passed, and the Horizon continued to show its terrifying power. The human warship didn't just appear on the edges of Council space, it made its presence known, sending a strong message to anyone who dared underestimate humanity's resolve. In a sector known for its heavily guarded trade lanes, the Horizon arrived unannounced. The Council had sent an entire fleet of advanced warships to monitor the area, but the human ship seemed to mock their power. The Horizon didn't engage immediately. Instead, it hovered in silence, sending ripples through the space around it, almost like a predator observing its prey. The Council ships, which had been positioned in an intimidating formation, tried to communicate, demanding the Horizon identify itself and state its intentions. But the human warship said nothing. No reply came, only the cold, silent presence that seemed to swallow the light around it. The first strike came not with a missile, but with a pulse of energy so powerful it shook the very stars in the sky. The shockwave hit the lid ship of the Council fleet with the force of a supernova. Shields flared, and engines were disabled in an instant. The rest of the fleet scrambled to regroup, but the Horizon was already moving. In the blink of an eye, another pulse of energy sent 2 more ships into a spiral of destruction. The fleet couldn't react fast enough. Their weapons systems couldn't lock onto the Horizon, and their communication lines went dead. The warship's technology was beyond anything the Council had encountered. The Council's best strategists watched in disbelief as their prized warships were torn apart. "We're being outmatched," said Vark, his tone now laced with something he rarely showed: fear. Zollner's voice was steady but cold. "The humans are not just attacking us with weapons. They're attacking our very concept of power. This is more than just a warship. This is a symbol of everything they have built. They are no longer the underdogs." But it wasn't just the fleet that was being destroyed. Word of the Horizon's strength spread quickly, and soon, thousands of different species who had once ignored humanity were now fearful. Traders, explorers, even pirates began to flee. The message was clear: Humanity was not to be underestimated. Back on Earth, the news of the Horizon's first successful strike spread like wildfire. Humans, who had once been pushed around by stronger empires, now stood tall. The Horizon was a shining symbol of human resilience, and it didn't just intimidate, it inspired. As the Horizon continued its march across the galaxy, leaving a trail of devastated fleets in its wake, the Galactic Council was forced to regroup. Their once unified front was now fractured, with members arguing about how best to handle this new threat. Some argued for diplomacy, but the fear was already too great. Others believed that a show of strength was the only way forward. Zollner, always the calm strategist, had a different idea. He knew that the only way to stop humanity was to fight fire with fire. But how could they? The Horizon had proven that it was a force to be reckoned with, and humanity had only just begun to show its power. Zollner's mind raced. A fleet wasn't enough. They would need something more, something that could match the strength of the Horizon. But the question remained, was there any way to stop humanity's rise before it was too late? The answer lay somewhere within the depths of space, in the unknown realms where the Council's spies had dared not venture. But there was one thing Zollner knew for sure. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's weakest link. It was the galaxy's greatest unknown, and the Council would have to face it head-on, whether they were ready or not. And as the Horizon sailed through the dark void, humanity's message was clear. They had arrived. And no one, no empire, no council, could ever put them back in the shadows again. The power of human ingenuity. As the Horizon moved further into Council-controlled space, the galaxy began to feel the full weight of humanity's power. The Galactic Council, once confident in their technological superiority, now found themselves scrambling to understand how they had miscalculated the humans' potential. The Horizon wasn't just a threat. It was a testament to humanity's ingenuity and unrelenting drive. The Council members, once skeptical of humanity's ability to create such a weapon, were now forced to confront the reality of what they were facing. Zollner, the leader of the Council, had seen many threats in his time, but never anything like this. The Horizon wasn't just an advanced warship, it was a masterpiece of engineering, combining cutting-edge human technology with their unique ability to innovate under pressure. It was something the Council had failed to anticipate. Behind the Horizon's creation was a group of brilliant minds from Earth, scientists, engineers, and military leaders who had spent decades pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The idea of creating such a ship had once been considered impossible, but humanity's resilience and determination had turned it into reality. A deep dive into the ship's design revealed that the Horizon was far more than just a massive vessel. Its hull was made of an alloy that could absorb and deflect even the most advanced weapons. The energy cores that powered the ship were of a new design, one that humans had developed through years of research in quantum energy. It was as though the ship was alive, reacting to the surrounding environment and adjusting its defenses accordingly. The Council had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and overcome. The Horizon was not a static warship. It was a dynamic, ever-evolving force that could counter any strategy the Council attempted. Every move humanity made was calculated, precise, and fueled by the sheer will to survive. The ship wasn't just a military tool. It was a symbol of what humanity stood for: resilience, creativity, and the will to fight for their place in the galaxy. Back on Earth, humanity watched as their super warship made waves throughout the galaxy. News of the Horizon's success spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of pride and unity among the people of Earth. The once divided nations now stood together under the banner of human strength. The Horizon was not just a weapon. It was a rallying cry for humanity to take their place among the stars. Admiral Catherine Briggs, the captain of the Horizon, knew this moment was crucial. She had always believed in humanity's potential, but seeing it realized in the form of the Horizon was something else entirely. The ship was more than just a tool of war. It was proof that humanity could achieve the impossible when they set their minds to it. "Prepare the next wave," Admiral Briggs ordered, her voice calm but filled with purpose. "Let the Council know we're not backing down." The Horizon's next move would be to take its message to the core worlds, where the Council's leadership resided. The humans were no longer playing defense. They were ready to make their presence known in the most powerful way possible. But while the humans reveled in their newfound strength, the Council was growing desperate. They knew they had to act fast. They had watched in disbelief as their most advanced fleets were dismantled by the Horizon. Now they were left scrambling, unsure how to fight back. The Council sent its best spies to Earth, hoping to learn more about the origins of this warship, its technology, and perhaps most importantly, its creators. What the spies found was both shocking and unsettling. Humanity's ingenuity was not just limited to the Horizon. They had already begun to develop other advanced technologies. Defensive systems that could counter even the most powerful weapons, communication devices that could intercept and block any signal, and energy sources that were far beyond what the Council had thought possible. Humanity had not just created one super warship, they were on the verge of creating a whole fleet of them. The Council's worst fear was beginning to take shape. Humanity was no longer the weak, fragmented species it once had been. They were rapidly becoming a force that could challenge the most powerful empires in the galaxy. The Horizon was just the first step in their rise to power. As the Council scrambled to find a solution, there was one undeniable truth. Humanity's ingenuity had changed the game. No longer could they rely on sheer numbers and advanced technology alone. They were facing a species that could innovate faster than anyone had imagined. If they hoped to survive, the Council would have to find a way to stop humanity's rise before it was too late. The Horizon continued its journey, its engines purring with energy as it made its way toward the heart of the galaxy. Humanity had proven its strength, and now it was time to show the galaxy that they were no longer a race to be overlooked. The Galactic Council had failed to see the power of human ingenuity, and now they were about to face the consequences. The Galactic Council strikes back. The Galactic Council was on the brink of panic. The Horizon had already destroyed multiple fleets, sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and demonstrated the kind of power no one had thought possible from a species like humanity. For the first time in centuries, the Council's vast, untouchable authority was in jeopardy. Zollner, leader of the Council, knew they couldn't afford to wait any longer. They had tried diplomacy, sending emissaries to Earth, but those efforts had been met with a cold refusal. Humanity had no interest in bargaining. They had made their message clear. They were not here to negotiate. They were here to dominate. Desperate times called for desperate measures. The Council sent out a summons to all their military commanders and strategists. In the deepest chambers of their flagship, the Council began to plan their counterattack. They would bring together their best fleets and deploy their most powerful weapons. If humanity was going to play the game of war, then the Council would fight back with everything they had. "We cannot afford another misstep," Zollner said, his voice steady but tinged with worry. "The Horizon cannot be ignored. It has become the symbol of human defiance, and we must strike before it grows too powerful." The Council had a secret weapon of their own, an ancient superweapon that had been kept hidden for centuries. It was capable of erasing entire fleets from existence. The weapon was a closely guarded secret, a fail-safe that the Council had never expected to use. Now, it seemed like their only hope. But as the Council prepared for war, a shadow hung over them. While the Horizon continued its advance through the galaxy, showing no signs of slowing down, the Council realized that this wasn't just about stopping a warship. It was about stopping a whole new era. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for a place at the top, for their rightful place in the galaxy. As fleets were mobilized and commanders assembled, Admiral Briggs and her crew aboard the Horizon watched the preparations from the comfort of their mighty ship. They had anticipated the Council's retaliation, and they were ready. The humans had prepared for this battle for years. Briggs stood on the bridge, gazing out at the stars ahead. She knew what this moment meant. The Horizon wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a beacon of humanity's future, a future they would defend with every ounce of strength. The battle between the Galactic Council and humanity was about to begin, and neither side was willing to back down. In the void of space, the first shots were fired. The Council's fleets were massive, their warships brimming with firepower. For a moment, it seemed like the overwhelming numbers might give them the advantage. But then the horizon moved. It didn't just fly. It tore through space with the precision and speed of a predator. Its weapons came alive, sending pulses of energy that cut through the Council's ships like a hot knife through butter. The battle that ensued was brutal. The Council ships fired their most advanced weapons, but nothing seemed to faze the horizon. Each shot was absorbed by its impenetrable shields, or it simply veered around them with expert maneuvering. The sheer power of the horizon was overwhelming. It was more than just advanced technology. It was a statement that humanity could not be defeated. One by one, the Council's warships fell. Their shields were no match for the human warships' devastating weapons. The horizon danced through the battle with uncanny precision, each move calculated to destroy as many ships as possible without losing an ounce of its own power. Every fleet that attempted to confront the horizon was annihilated, and the once mighty forces of the Council were left reeling. But the Council wasn't giving up. They had one final weapon in reserve. The ancient superweapon, a device of unimaginable power, was ready for activation. Zollner knew that this was their last chance. If the superweapon couldn't stop the horizon, nothing could. The superweapon was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. It was a massive energy pulse, capable of obliterating entire fleets and even planets in a single strike. The Council's final assault was launched, and it quickly became clear that they would stop at nothing to ensure humanity's defeat. But Admiral Briggs had anticipated this move. She had calculated every possible scenario, including the Council's use of the superweapon. The horizon moved again, this time avoiding the energy pulse with breathtaking speed. The superweapon missed, and in that moment, the humans struck back harder than ever. With a devastating blast from the horizon's main cannon, the superweapon was destroyed, its core ripped apart in a fiery explosion. The Council's final weapon had failed, and the tides of the battle had turned decisively in humanity's favor. As the remnants of the Council's fleet retreated, the horizon stood victorious. The battle was over, but the message had been delivered. Humanity was no longer the underdog in the galaxy. They had proven their strength, their ingenuity, and their unyielding determination to survive. The Galactic Council, once the unchallenged rulers of the galaxy, had been humbled. They now knew that they were not the most powerful force in the universe. Humanity had taken its place at the top, and nothing would ever be the same again. For Admiral Briggs and the crew of the Horizon, this victory was just the beginning. There were still challenges ahead, still empires that would seek to challenge their newfound power. But as the Horizon glided through the stars, one thing was clear: humanity was here to stay, and they would never again be overlooked. The final confrontation. The Galactic Council, now shattered and in disarray, had no choice but to acknowledge the overwhelming power of humanity. The Horizon's victories had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, proving that humanity was no longer just a fleeting species. They were a force to be reckoned with, a power that could not be ignored. But even in the face of overwhelming defeat, the Council wasn't ready to surrender. The loss of their fleets, the destruction of their superweapon, these blows were hard to bear, but the Council had one final move left. They had always prided themselves on their ability to hold the galaxy together, to be the ultimate arbiters of peace and power, and they would not let humanity disrupt that legacy without a fight. Zollner, despite his aging years, was not one to bow to defeat. He gathered the remnants of the Council's most powerful species and formed an alliance. This would be the final showdown. They had no more tricks, no more secrets. It would be a battle of sheer will, determination, and power. The message was clear. If humanity wanted to secure its place in the galaxy, it would have to earn it, not just by defeating fleets, but by facing the combined might of the Council in a final, all-out war. The stage was set. In the dark expanse of space, the horizon stood ready for the fight of its life. On board, Admiral Catherine Briggs stood in the command center, her gaze steady, reflecting the countless stars ahead. "We've come this far," she said, her voice calm but filled with resolve. "This is the moment. The Council may have rallied their remaining forces, but they've already shown their hand. They've lost, and they know it." Briggs knew that this was more than just a battle. It was a war for survival, for humanity's future. The Council had underestimated them for too long. Now it was humanity's time to show the galaxy that they were not just here to survive but to dominate. In the cold void of space, the Council's fleet appeared, massive, imposing, and ready for one final push. But this time, there was no fear in humanity's heart. The horizon powered up its engines, the hum of its energy cores filling the silence of the bridge. The crew moved with precision, their confidence unwavering. The battle that awaited them was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The first salvo was launched. The Council's fleet came at them in waves, their weapons glowing with energy, their ships moving in formation with military precision. But humanity had already learned from every previous battle. The horizon danced through the onslaught, its shields absorbing the blasts and deflecting them back with force. Every move, every maneuver was calculated to weaken the Council's defenses and neutralize their threats. The horizon's weapons fired in retaliation, its energy pulses cutting through the Council's ships like a blade through butter. One by one, their massive warships exploded in bursts of light, their shields no match for the horizon's advanced technology. The Council's forces, once proud and powerful, were crumbling under the might of humanity's ingenuity. But the Council refused to relent. In their desperation, they deployed their most powerful weapon, an energy cannon that could obliterate entire planets in a single shot. It was their last, most dangerous gamble. If they could take down the horizon, they could stop humanity's rise for good. The cannon charged, and a massive beam of energy streaked through the dark sky, heading straight for the horizon. But Admiral Briggs wasn't shaken. She had anticipated this move, just as she had anticipated every other move the Council had made. With a quick command, the horizon shifted its trajectory, evading the blast by mere inches. The cannon's energy pulse missed by a hair's breadth, causing an explosion in the distance as the beam collided with a nearby asteroid. The Council had missed their chance. Now it was humanity's turn. The horizon launched its most devastating weapon, the Nova Pulse. The massive wave of energy swept through the battlefield, crashing into the heart of the Council's fleet. The power of the blast was overwhelming. Ships were torn apart, their energy cores imploding in fiery explosions. The Council's remaining forces faltered, unable to withstand the sheer power of the Nova Pulse. In the wake of the destruction, the once proud fleets of the Galactic Council were reduced to scattered debris. Zollner's ship, a symbol of the Council's dominance, was among the last to fall. It exploded in a final, brilliant flash of light, marking the end of an era. The galaxy was silent for a moment. The battle was over. Humanity had won. The horizon drifted through the remnants of the battlefield, its systems humming as the crew surveyed the aftermath. Admiral Briggs stood at the helm, her expression one of quiet satisfaction. She knew that this wasn't just a victory in a single battle. This was a victory for all of humanity, a declaration that they would no longer be overlooked, no longer be considered weak. They had proven their strength. As the horizon set its course for the next chapter of humanity's journey through the stars, the galaxy stood at the threshold of a new era. The once untouchable Galactic Council was no more, and humanity had taken its place among the stars, not as a mere survivor, but as a dominant force to be reckoned with. And as the stars flickered in the vastness of space, one thing was clear: humanity had arrived. And they would never again be the galaxy's worst nightmare. They would be its greatest power.